So the seniors have been working, as many of you know, like the second part of the program is based on doing your own projects, and the first we're doing now currently 2 projects. And the first one is a solo project that the seniors by their own have been working on a project for a week. And now it's time to present them. So you know the rules, seniors. You have like 7 minutes, and then we have 3 minutes more for questions. If we exceed the time for questions, then that's fine. So please, everybody, try to be focused on the presentation. And if you want to know anything about the technologies used, or what was the most difficult part, or you want to basically ask whatever you want, you can do it at the end of the presentation. Okay, so the more questions, the better. Make this a conversation after they have finished. So with that, Max, if you want to start, whenever you want.
Okay. Well, guys, I'm Max. As you know, I'm going to present the project we have been working for 1 week. So, well, I decided to call it Receiver, and I tried my best. So I hope you like it. And at the end, you can make all the questions you want. So please make them. So, well, first of all, what is Receiver? The problem and the solution, right? So, well, first of all, let me ask you a question. So, doesn't happen to you that when you finish the journey and you get home, you are like so tired and actually you are destroyed mentally and physically? So the only thing you want to do is, I don't know, sleep and maybe chill a little bit, but yeah. And then you figure out that you need to start thinking about what you're going to dinner, and in most of the cases, what you're going to cook for tomorrow lunch. So yeah, that's a very disgusting situation when you get in front of the fridge and you're like, I don't know what to do right now. So yeah, Recipe is going to help you with that, and you're going to see now how. So well, technical details, the MVP. The MVP, for you to understand, is like you have an entire idea of an app, and you have so many features and so many work to do, but you only have 1 week, so you need to make an app that gives the main value to your product. So mine resides in the fact that people is lazy. So if they don't want to think about what they are going to eat or what they are going to cook, they are going to be lazy when they think about what to buy in the grocery list as well. So yeah, in most of the cases, people is buying the same products every week. And when you make your own recipes in my app, you're going to be thinking about what you have in the fridge commonly. So they are personalized, and when it comes the time to cook, you will see that all what you have in there is possible because you made them. So they are not going to be that situation to, okay, I like this recipe, but I don't have that ingredient and I never buy it. I don't want to buy it only for one recipe. So that's kind of the thing. I'm going to explain you some features about my app. So I think it's better to look a demo. This is a screenshot that I'm going to show you actually what it has in there. So first of all, I can do dev. This is done in the root folder. So it's running the client and the server at the same time. This is because of one technology I'm going to explain you later that is called turbo repo. So if I simply do this, I can run the client and the server. You see here, this is the client and this is the server. So I'm going to enter to the client, and this is my app. let me show you another command as well. You have to enter to the server folder and do yarn Prisma Studio. Prisma is another technology that you will see later. And Studio is simply the command to like open the, the database. So here you will see how I have the data stored. So let me show you some features about my app. First of all, what I did is to make it light mode or dark mode. People normally say that this is the better. So I will work like this. So let's see. First of all, you have an input to search for a name. You will see if I submit this, it's going to filter the entire list by the only recipe that has that name. In here you have a filter, kind of a filter as well to like filter the list of recipes. You have breakfast, I don't know, favorites. You will see now how is this working. So, oh, then I have here the great recipe pop-up. This is a component used inside the recipe as well. You will see now. When this is open, you cannot do anything more than create a recipe or not creating it. You can close this like clicking here or clicking outside. And if you show the recipe, you have here some information, the category that is related to that filter, the list of ingredients, in here some nutritional facts and the instructions in here. You can make it favorite like this, and you can edit as well. This is that component I told you that is shared with that button in here. But the difference is in here I have the content I already have because I want to edit it, and in here I have no content. So let's try this.
Max, I minute left.
Wow. Okay. So let me continue. These are kind of the features, so you have an idea, and the post is working as well. So let's go with the technologies I used. These three in here are used for the entire app. These three in here are used for the client, and these over here are for the backend. No, sorry, these three in here are backend, and these over here for the frontend. You can ask me later what are they. This is the wireframe, kind of the idea what I have at first for doing the app and the design. I achieved it almost all. And these are the insights and some conclusions I take from this project. So the first one is actually the experience of building an entire full stack app from scratch and without any kind of guidance. Well, actually, yes, we had guidance from the instructors and from our all. So shout out for them. The importance of the project one pager, you will see what it is, but it's kind of in only one page to show what your project is. Then the importance of divide and conquer. So you may have listened it. This is related of dividing the problem in many little problems to go to keep achieve them little by little, but also to the importance of divide and splitting the documents so you have a better flow coding and searching for code and for understanding what is doing that code. Then handling scheduled projects, so you have a lot of ideas you want to do, but you have only 1 week, so you have to handle what to do and what not. Then learning new technologies, for example, Daisy UI, in my case, that is is a component library for doing the front end. Then another point related to the last one, that is the importance of reading documentation. So if you want to learn new technologies, you need to learn how to read documentation as well. So in general, reinforcing learnings and skills. So that's it. this is the questions and answers. And thanks for listening. You have here some memes, and you can ask all what you want. Thanks.
Yeah, I have maybe a question, a compliment and a question.
Sure.
Yeah, first, I like your UI. It's really smooth and it seems pretty intuitive. That was probably my favorite part of the whole presentation. When I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's so easy to use. Makes total sense. Another question, what was the hardest thing for you to code?
Okay. Thanks for what you said, Sean. And the most difficult thing, I think, is the pop-up. When you click to create or edit, it shows the pop-up and it blurs the background. So this was difficult. I had some problems because first I did with conditional rendering with React. So that was kind of the idea at first, but then I figured out that in Daisy UI, the library I was using, it was actually a component for doing it, but it works like a real environment. It works like, how can I say it? I don't know. It's kind of links through the app, and yeah, it was difficult to like translate what I had to the component. So this was the difficult thing, I think. Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest learning from doing it?
Good question. Good question. My biggest learning, I don't know. I think I don't have a biggest learning. I learned a lot of things in the same amount. So, for example, the split of the documents, it was very clarifying to me this time. I also learned how to handle new libraries. Yeah, I think it has been very worth it for me in general.
Yeah, great project, Max. Very good.
Thanks, man.
So happy for you, and the result is awesome. Also, the one question I would like to do is, what I'm sure that everyone here wants to complete at 100% his project, because 1 week was not enough for me, at least. So if you pick to complete your project, how many days would you think you will need to do it?
Okay, I like this question because the thing that happened to me is like I had an idea. So from the beginning, I knew that I only had 1 week. So my mind doesn't thought about a very big project like, okay, I'm going to do like this, and then the MVP is going to be like that. No, I simply did, okay, I'm going to do a simple app to practice all what we have been learning these months. So, but then when I started coding and I started seeing my app, I saw that I would like to do more things and more things and more things. And I don't know, Elias, maybe I could spend the whole life doing this app. I don't know.
Matt, what would you do if you had like more time and even a team working on this? Like, what other features would you add?
Okay, one of the features that was shown in the wireframe, I think it was a timer. I wanted to put a button to show you a timer, like, you start cooking, you have the instructions, you have the ingredients, but I don't know, I don't want you to go to another app to search the time and then another time to see what is the next step. So I wanted to add a timer. Maybe I don't know, some more features and more styling in the recipe. I would like to add photos, maybe doing a user structure so everyone can post recipes and you can get recipes from another people,
Yeah, I wanted to ask, Mas, well done, good job. But like, if you are to push this app out, like to the markets, what are the features or the parts of the app you think you need to improve on?
Yeah, my app is, you did not see it because I don't show it to you, but it has many books, like little books when you click buttons and depending on what you do. So the user experience has to be improved. And maybe the data structure. So I have only one model in the Prisma schema, and maybe I could handle more models and kind of more relationship in between the data. I think this would be.
There was anything that was particularly interesting that you had to use in this case that maybe your companions want to hear about? Some weird like browser technology that you had to use?
Yeah, I think I get into Tailwind and Daisy UI that are component and CSS libraries to make easy yourself to doing the front end. As we are not designers, we are engineers, software engineers. So yeah, I think that makes easiest your life using that kind of libraries. And yeah, I think that's the thing I discovered, that it's pretty useful. You need to try it, guys. Daisy UI.
All right. It seems like there are no more questions. So Max, you can actually stop sharing, and
Okay,
then
sorry.
yeah. Now Ilias, get ready, and then right now we're going to go for a round of feedback. So first of all, congratulations, Max, for the application. It's looking nice, and I agree with what Sean said. And actually, I'm going to use it also as part of my feedback. So first of all, I wanted to comment about these slides. Okay, if you're going to have slides, then the slides should look complete. And you had like empty slides, right? Like it's a case of like the MVP is and the product is like with ellipses in there. So you have to make that meaningful. Yes. Even one sentence, no? Like what is like in one sentence, how would you describe the app or the solution that you are doing? And for me, that is critical for having slides. Okay, it's better not to have slides that have something that is just empty with ellipses, no? That it seems like a template, that it's incomplete. Then also, I think that the most critical part of the presentation is that the introduction took half of your presentation. So you were half of your presentation talking about the problem and about the possible solution, not your solution, but like something that I will use will have this feature and imagine like if we had this and if we had that, no, and I calculated that was 3 minutes and a half. So that's what I want to relate with what Sean said. He's like, oh, when I saw your UI, okay, like we're like this, no products enter, like everything. We get our first impression from the eyes. Yeah, it's our more powerful sense. So what Sean said, when I saw it, it all made sense. It's like, okay, it's easy, it's pretty, I want to use it. Yes. Up until that point, 3 minutes and a half of your presentation was like not convincing, no, in the sense of, okay, I understand the problem, but you're telling me about what can be done. Show your product is very nice actually. So put it before, no? The introduction should be something very, very, very short. Okay, so the demo was good, but it was like too many details. It was too long. Yeah, so you were commenting on how you were firing up the server. You were commenting about Prisma Studio. Yes, one of the tools that you're doing. If that's important, that goes to the end. On the technologies, on on the takeaways that it's like, please use Prisma Studio. It helped me a lot. Like, thanks to the team that created that. But it's not part of it. It's not core part of your thing. And then you were like going like too much in detail on like this button in here or that thing in there. In the demo, and that goes for everybody, in the demo, there goes a story, yeah, on someone using your application. Yeah, you can make it like you have to make the others relate how they can use and to show off a little bit about the thing. And you can get that from the masters of the industry, you know, from Apple, for example. When they're showing any product, they're not telling you like if this button works like this or that. They are experts using the app. They go fast. They show you how can you take like a full advantage of the features of that app and how that's going to make you like more efficient, more happy, etc. And for the and the last comment, it's on the insights. Okay, so on the insights, for example, I think that they were fine generically, but for me that were too generic. So I would like I wrote down in here more blood. I want to see more blood in the insights. Yes, what I mean about more blood, I mean about actually what you were commenting just at the very end of the last point, something related to this. Read the documentation. Yeah, something related to the point on learning new skills. The point in there was like learning new skills. Read the documentation. Okay, what do you mean? Tell us some problem that you had. Like, did you went for a tutorial and then you were lost in there, like and you went for another tutorial, and then you finally went to the source of truth, which is the documentation. You took some time to understand it, and then everything worked. Okay, so are you telling us like stop glorifying tutorials, like something like this? No, I think that these will connect a lot way better, and just one insight will have like a lot way more force than just like a lot of generics. Okay, but okay, overall good work. I'm very happy with the outcome of the application, so congratulations for that. Ilyas, let's go.
Okay. Hello guys, good morning. Thank you for being here. So my application is called TypeDev. What is it, and why I picked this project? First of all, it's an application that helps developers, juniors, entry level, practicing coding on everything to learn to type faster and in a more efficient way. Why I picked this project? Because when I started, you know, the first thing I searched is how I improve my typing in coding, how I improve the speed or the efficiency, or, you know, you are like looking at the keyboard and pressing buttons. It's kind of, you know, ridiculous. Don't know, ridiculous is too far, but you understand my point. So I couldn't find anything specific for developers. You know, there are many applications outside about typing faster and measuring and all of this stuff, but specific for developers, there was nothing. So let's show the app. So this is the app. I know if you can see it. Actually, I'm going to talk about this later, but let's start using it. So you have here your editor. You have languages you can pick in order to practice on them. Let's say JavaScript. It brings you snippets of code of JavaScript to different functions. Doesn't matter. TypeScript, Python. This Python thing, I did it for Sean. I wanted to have Python only for Sean. So let's start. I know the buttons are not pretty nice, but you know, I want to be functional rather than so beautiful. But let's do it. So the categories disappeared. We start writing. As you can see, we are writing on top of the editor. Sorry, I'm writing so slowly because I'm writing from the keyboard of the Mac, so I'm not gonna waste much time. So you start writing, you can reach to the end, and you press evaluate. So it pops up a graph with these functions. So WPM is 4 words per minute. I'm so fast. Something wrong with efficiency. I don't know what happened here. I maybe retry. So you have the actual representation of current, of the efficiency and the time performance. So if you, let's say, start, you can change. We have picked type JavaScript for now. So if we press regen, it will bring us snippets of JavaScript. So sorry, evaluate. Okay. We have a regen button to regenerate random things. We have a very important, for me at least, feature, which is create your own snippet. So you have here, you can place code, blah, 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 blah. And if you press, you choose the language and the difficulty. So you press submit, a pop-up message. It has actually been added to our, here it is. To our database. Okay, here it's ridiculous, I know, but okay. So we can actually, we are here in this, let's say, snippet. We can edit, so we can delete this and write something else. Blah blah blah. I don't know. So we press submit. The snippet has been edited. This should appear instantly, but I'll fix it. So you can see that it is instantly edited. So that's it, a quick showcase of the application. So about the technical details for the front end, I used Vite, Tailwind, CSS for styling, TypeScript React, and the two special libraries, Monaco Editor and Chart.js to display the charts. And the Monaco Editor is the editor that you saw that I write on top of it. For the backend, it's TypeScript, PostgreSQL for the database, Prisma ORM, Express, and I used an MVC model for data for file structure. About I want to talk actually about the process. You know, I started with a blank page and saying, "Oh my God, how am I gonna do it?" I'm kind of disappointed in one sense because I wanted to do so much more things, like create a front-end page and an authentication so a user can log in and do all this stuff for different users, but I did not have the time. I underestimated the time that I would take to design the front end and implement all these functions with modals hiding and typing a button. Other models are hiding, and it was kind of complicated. So actually, the front end took me more than 4 days, 5 days maybe. So I had only one day and a half for the database, and no time for design or making a front page or anything. So there was a time during the process, that I was like that. I was ready to scrap the project because I had no time. I couldn't figure out how to write on top of the editor I had. I couldn't figure out because I tried to use another editor on top of the editor. It didn't work. It's much more difficult than it appears. So desperation got me. I had a call with Edu. I told him, no, I'm going to scrap the project. I'm going to make something like Airbnb clone, or I don't know. He told me, no, do it. You have spent 2 days doing this. Try. So I listened to him, and thank you for that, Edu. The challenges I'm faced was TypeScript, Monaco charts, and right on top of the editor. TypeScript, because it's a strongly typed language, I had to figure out how to write React with TypeScript, which was very difficult for me. I haven't done this before. Monaco charts, I had to go through the documentation to modify so the code has letters with colors, the minimap disappear, to be responsive. There are so many things, so many hours on that, and the writing the top of the editor, which actually took me like 1.5, maybe 2 days to figure it out exactly as I wanted. This is what looks like with the charts. It was funny. This is the result. So I downloaded an extension, which is the complexity. As you can see, I have 22 use states. Ridiculous. The complexity is 51 bloody hell. It says, I don't know what exactly is that, but okay. So I wanted, as I said, I wanted to do so many more, and I downloaded the meme that Sean make. I could add so many features. I want to, I will, but I didn't have the time. So yeah, the lessons is to actually that I took from this project is to never give up. You try to fix the issue, to overcome the difficulties. And the most important one is one thing at a time, because when I was ready to give up, I was thinking, I can't even write on top of the editor. How I'm gonna calculate the WPM? How I'm gonna calculate the efficiency? How I'm gonna show them? What I was desperate, but okay, I said one thing at a time. Let's fix this. Let's fix it. The next. And the other lesson is make it work, make it pretty, which is not the case with me here. But okay. Overall, I must say I'm so proud that for the uniqueness of the project. I know the seniors may see, okay, so what? This is a difficult project. No, it's not. But for me, it was, because I haven't done this before. I had anywhere to, let's say, see or practice on it, or see any examples on any tutorial or nothing. It's all from scratch, me and the project. So this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Q&A.
Ilias, I think I speak for every senior here when I say we all understand how difficult it is to make something that looks incredibly simple. So
Yeah.
we all appreciate how much work has gone into this.
Yeah, I'm incredible. Yeah, so many hours. I know you know, guys. I know you know that I did everything I could.
I have a question. So how are you doing the comparison between one text and the other? Are you basically turning the whole text blocks into strings and then just checking to see like
exactly
if they match?
Exactly. So it is a string actually. So I take the value. I have the value. I use a use effect to fetch the initial, let's say the initial snippet that appears. Then I have another use state to actually take the string that the user is writing, and then comparing. I'm actually splitting by space and a rejects pattern. So you have only the words. So you compare with an if statement, with a for loop, the words one by one from the user and the word from the template. And that's how it's done. You can see it here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, let's go.
So just a follow-up question really quickly. So one of the challenges in my mind would be initially do that, but then like if everything is off by one character, how do you avoid the situation of it throwing everything off by one character?
Can you repeat, please? Because I'm not sure that I understand the question.
Yeah, sure. So let me just type something in chat to make it a little easier. So let's say I've got console log, I am a fish. And then don't ask why, console log, I am a fish. Okay, so in the chat, I just typed two things. I think the whole thing from C to the parenthesis, that is going to be evaluated.
Look,
and
the first thing is that actually, as I told you, I break the first console log and the second console log, I think in words. So the program, the algorithm is gonna detect that AM is different from AAM. So it's gonna throw an error there. Also, another thing is that the user actually, he's coming back with backspace to delete his error. So you have to take this into consideration. So for the time's sake, because I couldn't make it perfect, what I did is for every 3 backspaces the user presses, I count it as 1 error.
That's cool. How are you detecting the backspaces? I never, that's
actually, this was the part of one challenge I had, because I had the editor, and on top of the editor, I placed the text area. But you know, the text area, if you press enter, it doesn't go down the button. I don't know, it didn't go down for some reason. So I had to manually make a function to actually do it. And it's right here, if you can see. I have this function. So by events. So this is actually counting the backspace
I see.
with a handle key down, which is a property in the text area. Sorry to show you here.
That's fine.
On key down.
Those are all the questions I have.
Cool.
Smashing job, in my opinion. I thought it looked fine. The aesthetic was good, and clearly the functionality is pretty good.
Look, I thought it was kind of fine until I got and saw the Monkey Type, which is an application to type fast and kind of like not coding everything. And I was amazed by the UX UI. So I'm gonna improve it in the future. It's for me, it's ridiculous. These kinds of buttons, 20 buttons and different colors. It's I don't like it so much. You know, I could do much better.
I know you like use states a lot. Do you think there is any other way or approach of maybe trying to reduce the number of use
course,
states?
I can place them inside an object and do other stuff, but I wanted to have time to be able to refactor my code, but I didn't have the time. So I
think that's going to be a good idea that we convert this into a session, into a public session with everybody. That can be called "How to Refactor the Million Use States" by Elias.
Yeah. Come on,
he likes it. That's what I'm asking. Elias,
come on. I cannot stand another meme for me. Come on. Someone else has to take the crown now.
So Elias, great product, great presentation. Well, great idea, great execution, great presentation. Still, you had you were in a little bit of overtime too. Okay, it seems like, well, from now on, what I'm going to do is like 1 minute left, and then I'm going to say time over. Okay, time's over. So then that doesn't mean you to stop. Okay, but like to closing. Okay, we don't want to be that rush, but I'm going to also tell you time's over, because if not, that last minute for you gets it's like another presentation. But it seemed like a lot way more accurate on time and what are the timings.
I tried to do it. Yeah.
The interaction was fast. You jumped right away into the demo, into the product. So that was good. So also one good thing is that the sense of humor. Okay, I think that it's like a very powerful tool in presentations, and in this case, like doing the Python only for
you, Sean, for you.
Which if you want just a comment, like some people might know Sean or not, just adding like a little bit of explanation. Yeah, it's like just a little sentence at the end. You're like, yes, he's quite obsessed with Python or something like this. He's going to introduce it to everybody. Okay, but great sense of humor.
Thank you.
Just a joke, Sean. Okay, when you were presenting then the demo. Yeah, when you were like adding, not at the first was like completing the code. That's fine. It's with code because you had it prepared. When you were adding code, you did like some gibberish with the keyboard. It's good to have like some code prepared on your paste bin.
Yeah, of course.
So you can then on your clipboard, sorry. So you can then
paste
put
them
like some good code in there. Okay, so it makes it more meaningful.
Okay.
And better to see. And also, I don't know if this is more feedback about the app. I think that for the presentation, but whenever you are adding any kind of code, use an editor, use Monaco editor, not a text field.
I wanted, I wanted to do that.
Of the scope, no?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah.
Also, mainly typos on the presentation. There's no much text. Okay, you don't need a lot of text in the presentation, and a good example is your presentation. You were like, it's just a visual reinforcement of the things that we are considering at the moment, but then mind the typos. Okay, be sure that you have absolutely no typos, because as you have not much text, every typo is very big. It's perceived as very big. Okay, so just mind that. And that's it for the insights. I really like them. Okay, they were like 3, and they were like applied to you, and you related to examples. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud personally that you're telling others to tackle one thing at a time, please.
Yeah. Please. I learned my lesson.
you saying that, it's impressive to me. So
Yeah.
so I'm very glad that you are getting that flag and you're waving that flag. And well, a pro and a con on make it work, make it pretty. That you said, well, that's not me. I suppose that you were saying because you didn't make it pretty, but at least that's what we're talking about. No, it's like release. So releasing means make it work. Yes, that's true. Then the downside on that is that maybe you had like some features that you could, that I know that you put it from the beginning, like different languages, and we said, hey, this is one thing that you can drop totally, and you went for that instead of refactoring all the use states, for example.
Yeah.
That's the make it pretty.
Cool. Yeah.
So in this sense, I will module a little bit like what are you like prioritizing more towards like making it pretty for that part and sacrificing scope. Okay, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Elias,
It is.
but is what we have to all fight for. But that's it. Congratulations. Right, Albert, all yours.
So hello everybody, nice to be here. Today I'm gonna explain what's my project and what's about it. It's true that many times when you have to prepare like a meal or like an event to your friends or to your family or I don't know whatever, it could be very stressing, very stressful and very tiring, right? So my app seeks to solve like a problem in the market that is like the little offer that as soon as we talk about catering service that there is for individuals instead for companies. Okay, so my contribution to solve this is to create a community, no, okay, that that allow cooks that have that have the same opinion about this problem, okay, and they allow to join to this app to offer her catering service. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you like how my app works a little bit. This is my app, okay, and well, I have to say that the first idea it was that where you see this form, this your form, okay, instead of this it will appear like a login interface to allow the cook enter to the app, and then it will appear this form, okay, to create a new offer, and also the cook can edit one offer. I don't know, he can, for example, if I want to delete this offer, you are going to see that there is no offer. Also, we can delete it, okay. Also, I don't know, we can create a new offer. I don't know at all, because now you're going to see how it works. Kebab catering, for example, content top, price, I don't know, content location, Barcelona. Okay, then the offer will appear here. All kebab catering top. Okay. Also, the other side is like the customer side. Then when the customer enter to the app, they don't gonna see like this form. Simple, they gonna see like all the offers like this with the logo, with this, and they are going to contact with the cook. They have to open the form. Then they have to fill the form. I don't know, for example, mail.com, phone, date and 5, location Barcelona, members 20 members, the message hello chef, then we send it. It works because I don't know. A lot of times I don't think it's for the Wi-Fi. I don't know why. Please work, please. Okay, and then theoretically it have to send a message. Okay, now have to send a message to the cook, that in this case is me, and well, the cook can contact to the customer by via mail or via phone. Okay, so well, that's it, how it works. I don't have time to fix some things like the login in interface, or I don't know, for example, my intention it was that the cook that post the offer can select his own picture, for example, a picture of himself doing some I don't know, some food or things like this, but I don't have time to achieve it. So well, that's it. Okay, now I'm gonna explain a little bit of the tools that I used with the backend. Tool repo, that it's worked very well because allows you to start the server and the client at the same time. I also use Express, TypeScript, Prisma, and Postgres SQL to the database. I also use Node. I use Postman to test my server. I used Courier to send the email, and I also use the big crypt and the JSON Web Token to hash the password. My front-end tools, it was React, Byte, Chakra, and TypeScript. I have to say that another time I don't will use a Chakra because I think it's a little bit precarious or something like that. I don't like it at all. So the next time I will use, I don't know, tail CSS or something like that, because I think it will be a better tool in the market. So okay, my insights. I think that my biggest challenge it was sending an email, because it's a thing that I never did. So I have to know how to do it with this tool, and I have to read all the documentation and these things that at first time it seems easy, but it's so difficult to know about it. So well, okay, sorry, and well, that's it. I hope you. Also, I want to thank of all the instructors, because I think that this app is also of day. So thanks.
Okay, just as when I say time's over, you can finish your sentence if you want. And
Okay.
So that's
if there is any.
I think I like pretty well the functionalities and how you arrange your user interface. But I would like to know, what was the most challenging part of your project?
Well, I think that there are two things that they are the most challenge. That is like sending an email and also control the frustration, because it's a thing that it's a little bit difficult for me. And well, I think that I'm better with this, but I have to achieve it. So well, yeah, I think that this is the most big challenge, is this control when something doesn't work or something like that. I get so stressful, and this is one of the best challenge that I can achieve it, but because I think that finally I could do it better.
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
First off, when you sent an email, that blew my mind. That was really cool. Like, I've never done that either, and I thought that was amazing functionality. So good job on that. That had to be tricky to set up. Second thing, what is about the idea itself? What scale do you intend for this project? Because if you're sending messages like to the chefs or to someone that receives it on behalf of the chefs, I guess, am I wrong in thinking this is supposed to be a little more personal, or is it open to being streamlined, scaled for like massive industry?
Yeah, I think that it could be a scale like a big app. I think that what I mean, well, for example, I'm gonna show you because if not, it's gonna be difficult. My intention it was to create a login interface and that. So I think that my first idea it was like doing like an Airbnb, but for events, but not for companies events. I mean, when you join with your friends and you want to make a big meal, something like that, and you are, for example, 20, maybe doing all the stuff is difficult, complex, and stressful. So you can contact here and just paying a little bit more that you have to pay if you do it about yourself. I think it's a good idea to don't stress, to don't have to prepare all the stuff and contact with a chef that is up there in this app, and he just do all the stuff, and you don't have to do anything. So
Gotcha.
so I
So like
think that
food
yeah,
catering.
the idea is to do a mix like just like a social media and like Airbnb.
All right. So I actually don't have much feedback for Albert, just good work. Good work on the app. Of course, it's still missing like some things. The first thing that I will do is to start like for next steps is to separate the for now it's just one page. No, it's like to separate a little bit the view from the admin, like sorry, the admin
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
for the chef and the consumer. No, now it's like a little bit blurry to understand. And also another thing that I would do is that this contact form is not expanded in the card, but it's like shown as a model. Because if not, that's going to like break the entire layout of the different cards, I suppose. Okay, so that's just a little
Okay.
bit of. But you can see that I'm telling you like technical things. The presentation was fine. It was on time. It was like when I say time is over, you were already on the last slide and on the last sentence already. So very good, very well timed. The only thing is that when you like send the event, then you say like, oh, I don't know if this is not working because of the Wi-Fi or anything like that, but you're in a call. So careful with doing that. And also that's going to give you and that's a good demonstration for everybody to think about feedback, like UI feedback. Yeah, when you press a button, something should happen. You should tell the user something is happening. Yes, and this is still going. Yeah, for the user not to click many times on that. How many times do you create it on contact?
I don't know, a lot of times, but this time I have to press like 5 times or 6 to send the email. I don't know why.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to check now, but I hope you didn't receive 5 emails. So
Before doing the expo, I just try it and I just click it, I don't know, 10 times, and I receive it like 3 different emails, but with the same content. So I don't know if it's about the internet, if it's about the code, if it's about I don't know.
no, the internet is fine. It's your app. It's your app. It's your app.
Okay, yeah, but
It's your code.
yes, but I don't know. Yesterday it works fine. I press 1 time and it sends.
Well, that also that goes for everybody. Okay, you should have ownership on this thing. Your app should work on bad conditions as well. Yeah, so no, internet is fine. Internet works. They can have like some problems, but the app should like react to these things. No, like it's like throttling, for example. you can only send one at a time until we haven't responded to one request. I don't send another one, so I don't send many emails and this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And also another one is I sorry because I haven't checked that on the others, but on yours I just saw that was in there, the title of the application, the tab in there.
You mean this?
Can you read it?
What?
Vite plus Tailwind plus React.
Yeah, this is on the index HTML or something like this, right?
That's
You
your
have to
application.
delete it.
Your application has a title, okay, and then you have to change it.
Just going to add on top of what you were saying about the like when something doesn't work properly, like the sending email. I think you should always, like, no matter how well prepared you are and how well prepared is your app, you have to always be ready for something not working, because usually things don't work when presenting. Like, that's the time when things decide not to work. So you also always have to be sort of ready and take it calmly and like say that's like, I think you handled it well, because in the end it did send the email, but also for next times to consider, like, if you see that it's not working, you just say, okay, well, what happens now is, let me show you an example, and then you have an email ready and open there to just the previous one to sort of show it.
And overall, congratulations, Albert. All right, Georgia, all yours.
So basically mine kind of is similar to everyone else's in terms of, I thought there was a void in the market. So it's called MovieMe, and it's basically a recommendation service based on films and kind of TV shows that your friends have watched and would recommend. So I find I spend half of my life, once I've finished a show, asking my friends and family for a suggestion of what to watch next. And I've either watched it already or have never even heard of it. So it kind of gives you the option to filter through what you've seen already or what your friends have watched that you haven't. My MVP, now I will say this now, I took too much on. I should have done something more simple, because this was insane. I don't think I've slept properly for a week. But essentially, as a user, it would be, you'd kind of have a feed page that would show what people have recommended in descending order. So most recent at the top, with their kind of rating for it. And longer term, I would build in an option to see what streaming platform they'd seen it on as well. Because again, that's another frustration, that you have to check what streaming platform it's on, because nowhere ever lists it. There's kind of multiple things it would be doing. So watched order, you can also then share your profile so other people can follow you and see what your recommendations are. And with built-in notifications, I didn't manage the notifications. But essentially you create your own profile, make your own recommendations, and you can follow other profiles. So I will show you. Here it is. I'm very sorry that the opening page is really basic, but you essentially log in. This broke this morning, and I have spent the time before the call trying to fix it, but this used to show the artwork of the movies rather than just the title. And I don't know what I've done to the code overnight, but it has stopped that working. But yeah, so essentially it would have who has recommended it, so each user, and then what they gave it out of 10. This button, you're able to then get a link to share your profile. And then this is to add your own recommendation. And then this will basically take you back to the homepage. And then you have a sign up option where you can create your own account. And then once you've then done that, that then takes you through to the My Profile page, where new users can then set up their own profile. I think this is what Errol was talking about, that little bit up there. So for me, it was a lot, basically. So I needed to create a user, but off of that user, they needed to have the followers, who they were following, and then their recommendations. And then it also fed through to their own profile. So on there, you would need to share your profile, see the feed with recommendations from those that you follow, and then also obviously add your own recommendation, so that that would then feature for people who do follow you. This was my Prisma schema, which I had many-to-many relationships and one-to-many relationships, which took me, I would say, a day to get correct, which I did end up doing, but it was a lot. For the front end, I used kind of same as everyone else, so React, Vite, and Tailwind. Tailwind I got to grips with eventually and actually ended up really liking it, because I think once you've spent a bit of time working with it, you actually really, it kind of embeds itself and you can work out what you need to do much quicker than kind of traditional CSS. And then backend was Prisma for my ORM. I actually use ThunderClient, which is the built-in kind of version of Postman on VS Code, which personally I found really helpful to just have everything on one screen. And then I would say kind of the good was getting things up and running. I've struggled with the front end in the past, so it was nice to actually feel quite comfortable using React and kind of using use states, not as many as Ilias. But I think I kind of did the whole of the front end, then I did the whole of the back end, and then I panicked at trying to link it all up. And so I think kind of echoing what Ilias and Max said, divide and conquer, like do little modules, do a little bit at a time, make sure it works, make sure it's functional, then move on to the next thing. Because I think I ended up with too much on both ends, but nothing linked up as well as I would have liked it to have been. And then this is because I'm not going to give up and I'm going to keep going. And those Barcelona fans among you will remember that this is from when Liverpool beat you 4-0 at Anfield and went on to win the Champions League final. I was there for that 4-0 and it was literally the best game of my whole entire life. But yeah, so there's, I mean, like I say, there's still a lot of work to do on it. It's nowhere near what I wanted it to be, but I think I could have, with hindsight, don't try and do something that has lots of different relationships. It was a lot and it was intense. And I did use the TMDB API to use all of the graphics for like streaming shows and movies and stuff. So that is what was showing originally on the user profile page, and I need to work out why that has gone. But yeah, that is it. Any questions, guys?
I have the first question, sorry. Yeah, it's related to this slide. It's like, do you realize that I'm the one giving you feedback now?
Listen, Errol, when you're faced with adversity, you just need to never give up.
Okay. Everything is clear, okay. Feedback coming later. I'm going to write some things.
I have a question, actually. First, I want to say I really admired your database schema. Like, that was beautiful. That was really cool to see. I never got to a point where I could work on the back end for my project or do the database schema. So like, I'm really impressed by the difficulty of yours and that you accomplished it. That's cool. Second thing is, I don't know, have you been using GitHub with your have you been using GitHub with your project, like just uploading it every night?
No, and that is another thing that I would say I really, really regret, because if I had, I would have been able to instantly see when pulling those images had stopped working. But no, I didn't upload to GitHub once in the week that we were working on it. So
sorry to hear it. I started doing it a few days ago and it helped me a little bit.
Lesson learned for the future. Upload every day.
Yeah.
I'm a living experience, actually. If I was not uploading every day, I wouldn't have, like, I would have zero, like nothing to present today. So I think it's always really helpful. But like, nice work, Georgia. And I like your confidence. Like, even with what you detected this morning, you still have like the zeal and everything to present well. So nice one.
I would have rather have not, if I'm honest. I would have rather have spent the morning fixing it, but we're here now.
Don't worry, everything went fine.
I have a question. So in my case, in my app, I needed as well to make some relationships in between the schemas and all this stuff at the beginning. And then with the help of Ruben, I figured out some techniques to avoid using relationships and making myself difficult. So do you think this is the most difficult thing you had to handle?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think getting the relationships to link up properly without any errors, and then being able to then test it in Thunder Client, it took me a long time to get the relationships working how they should be working, and then also to then write the post or get requests that linked the two things correctly as well. So yeah, I'd say of everything, that was kind of the hardest thing that I did.
Yeah, it's a pretty difficult thing, I think. Yeah.
Just to
Thanks,
clarify,
George.
like, I don't know what you mean to avoid some relationships, but usually relationships are good. Yeah, like I'm not talking in generics. I'm
I'd be
talking about
intrigued to
Prisma.
know how you've avoided doing it.
I'm talking about Prisma. Okay, I'm not talking about generics. But in database, I mean, there's no way to avoid using them. Maybe using like a non-relational database, but we have to go through it. We have to go through the process. Okay, of learning them.
But I think again, by the end of getting my Prisma schema working, I felt quite confident on it. Like I think I'd feel quite comfortable now doing relational databases and having multiple different relationships across it. Whereas before this project, I was kind of glued to the documentation of how to do it.
Yeah, no, I want to say that what time do you think that you will need to finish? What do you want to do?
Honestly, weeks to get it how I would actually want it to be. Weeks.
Yeah, it's amazing, Georgia. Yeah.
But I think if I were to go for that, I'd almost start from scratch doing it and do it in a modular way so that I could get each element working at a time, obviously using my existing code. But I think I made it really hard on myself for the functionality because I'd done everything so separately.
So next one is Agnes, I think. Okay, so be prepared, like start preparing while I'm giving some feedback. So Georgia, that was a joke. I'm going to be soft. Actually, I'm going to be positive about the presentation. The other thing that I want to introspect a little bit is like when I was seeing like what you were presenting, I just realized about one thing, and it's like in retrospective, like looking at this week, I remember like going for some panic times with well, not panic times, but some help requests with John. I remember about going with some with Esther, with everybody, no, Elias, but with you, I don't remember one, and I don't remember that much. I don't know if that's going to be the same feeling for Ruben and Edu. Okay, but one thing that I like want to call out here for is to make us, I'm sorry, we are reactive in this case. We are like instructors are a little bit reactive in this case. Ask for help. Yes, like constantly ask for help. I think that this is one of the we complain sometimes about why everybody is like asking for help at the same time and everything, but we have our queues, we have our lanes, and eventually we're going to go there and solve like some of the situations. But I think that is like a key part of the offer that we have in here, that support time, and I think that we can help you with we could have helped you with these things about the relationships, not to take the entire day, but just to take like some hours and still make it like a positive experience afterwards, no? And understanding what's that. So that's a call for whenever we go for the group projects, call us. Yes, it's like be one of the most annoying person here. So you have to ask for help, and then that's the way that we have to transfer the knowledge. And yeah, that was very on point, Sean. And another one that I had like pointing here: commit often or lose code. Okay, so that's the I want to make T-shirts of that. Okay, so that was from the first day. I want to make like this logo that is like commit often or lose code. So one day they will come. And that's it in general. I agree with Agnes. I applaud your you being brave, yes, and not hesitating about making a presentation, like exposing, no, like this and exposing what happened. And actually, I always say to whenever I have the opportunity, whenever I go to technical presentations in events, and the presentations that I remember the most are the presentations of failures. Like it was like I went to one presentation once. That was before I was like a Typeform engineer, and I was a Typeform engineer like in there, like talking about how they decided to use CSS modules for the entire application, and they started like changing all the code. Yes, so they had this great decision. It was a story like he was like introducing that. He introduced the topic and the decision for 2 minutes, and then he said, "Result, we failed." Yes, and then he was like, we spent like tens of thousands of euros in the project for showing it to the trash after some months. Yeah, and he's like, and now I'm going to tell you the story on how that was planned. I'm going to tell you the story on how that was executed, so you don't repeat the same mistake. Yes, so these are the best presentations. I mean, like when we have failures, well, you know that's a cliche, no? It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to improve. So yeah, okay, make it count. Yes, and that you're sharing that with us, it's great, and it requires like a lot of self-esteem, and congratulations for that and sharing that with us. Okay, next one.
I'm going to get it working, and then I'll show you it all.
Of course. I don't doubt that. Actually, for me, it was surprising, but the surprise for me came like, wow, it's like it's Georgia. Yes, like I was counting on like being surprised today about. So, and that in retrospective, I got like, hey, wait a second, I was helping like this, and I was making sure that everything was advancing, and not Georgia. No, so that's also a failure of mine. So let's learn about this. Now we have the group project. Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for the presentation and congratulations too. Agnes, go on.
Okay, welcome to Roommates. Have you ever been a student searching for a room to rent in a new state or city or a country? That could be very daunting and a time-consuming experience, but not more. Introducing our new app designed specifically for international students, also for local students studying in L'Aquila, Italy. So here, as a new student, normally you have to start moving around looking for a room, but in this case, there is no longer such situation in L'Aquila. So this app is actually a game changer for anyone studying in L'Aquila, making the process of finding a room stress-free and convenient for students. Join us in making life easier for students. So from the city center, this is the city center in L'Aquila. Let's go straight to our app and see what we have. When a user visits our page, the first thing you see is this particular page. And you scroll down from the arrow, and then you're going to see this particular page where you see list of housing with good user experience. Because the first thing to keep in mind is, as an international student, we want to make our app very user-friendly and also very responsive. So in a larger screen, in a small screen, you have this very well, cool. And then in a larger screen, maybe on your tab, on your bigger screen, and maybe on a big desktop, you have this. So when you come to this app, you can actually either explore or you can add a room if you're a landlord. So as a landlord, I can do this to add a room. And then you can choose the type, whether a shared apartment, single or not. You can pick number of rooms, then the price, let's say 200. I put the address. And if you try submitting, you get this nice error. And this is React Toaster telling you have to upload an image. So when I click on choose image, for example, if I pick this image and I open it, you have this telling you just for you to be sure this is what you want. And when you submit, you have this image over here. And then you can also click on each room and you can see the image you uploaded. You see the price of that room. You have this map to actually check for your location, and then you can apply for a room. And for you to apply for a room, you must be an authenticated and authorized user. If so you have to sign up or you sign in if you already have an account. And while you are typing, you can see, confirm your password and all. So back to the app, we also have this exploit page here, where you can actually search for a room. So you can search maybe by price, by whatsoever you want. So our app is actually a full stack application in which we used Postgres as database management system. We use Prisma as our object relational mapping tool, which allow us to easily query and manipulate our data from the database. We use Express.js, which is a framework that is built upon Node.js. And you can see actually that our app is what I call pen stack, because we use Postgres, we use Express.js, React, and then Node. But there is something very unique about this app, about the implementation of our app. And what is this? The seamless integration between the front end and the back end. Why this? Because we use TypeScript throughout our application, ensuring that data is consistent across both layers. And by layers, I mean the front end and the back end. So for the front end, we used React as our UI library. And we use Tailwind as the CSS framework. And you know why we choose React for this project? Because React gives us reusable components and a structured approach to building our user-friendly interface. And then we have this relationship between our front end, in this case, the client, and the back end, which is the server. So our client can be our phone. As you can see, the app, it's so very responsive. So it works well on your phone, on your tab, on your system, whatsoever. And then you have this server in which we relate through this API. So as a user, you come to the website searching for a house, you're making a GET request to the server through the API, and the server sends back what we call HTTP response through the API as JSON to your clients, in which you now see the list of rooms you have. So one technically challenging aspect of our application was implementing authentication and authorization. And believe me, the security of every application, every app you use, the security is very important. So to achieve this, we use JSON Web Token to securely authenticate users and manage access to protected resources. Recommendation. For this project, I've used TypeScript, and indeed, I would recommend other developers to try use TypeScript for your front end or back end to ensure that your code is strongly typed, and more importantly, to help you catch errors even before they occur. I also recommend using Tailwind, but it depends on what you are doing. So I will say Tailwind should be it should depend on your use case. Something very important I also want to share is the structure of our application. Okay, so you can see we have the app, we have our context provider. And in this project, why do I choose to use context provider? This is a very big project. And then you are going to, instead of using much state or rewriting same code that you already having to repeat yourself, the aspect of clean code is very important. So we use context here to make sure all our states, our rooms and everything we need are on the top of all applications. So here you can see that you have this context provider and you have the props. Here I have my rooms. So I have everything on the top, and anywhere I need it in the components, I can easily pull whatsoever I need down to the component that needs it, and then I will use it. So thank you so much for listening. Questions?
I'm really impressed at the amount of polish your animations have. I know because I was working on a video game, so I really respect the polish. It it makes a huge difference in like the final perception. So like that was really cool seeing like the animations or screens would like enlarge in and then come back to normal size. It makes a world of difference for comfort. So that was cool. And it seems like you accomplished a heck of a lot. So I have, yeah, I guess I just have one question. Throughout this, what would you say was the most challenging thing, and what was the most annoying thing?
Actually, the most annoying and also challenging, not really annoying, but
Okay.
like very challenging. Let me say TypeScript. Why? Because this was my first project. Yeah, my first project having to work from scratch with TypeScript because I don't have a demo of what I was doing. So TypeScript was the most challenging. And the most annoying thing for me was not having a complete Figma design of like the UI, the user, the pages that I want to make. Like it's easier for me to work on a project when I already have a special design for all page. Okay, this is this. And using Tailwind, I would just look at, okay, this is what I have to do. And it's easier for me. But like, and within 1 week, I can start drafting or design for each page. So it's going to be time consuming. So I have to do everything out of imagination, like think, okay, this page should go this way. And
one question, Agnes. Very, very good job and complete job. I'm so proud of you again. Very, very good job. Complete one. A question because I have done authentication in one project, but not with TypeScript. The thing I had much difficulty is to upload pictures through the user, through a link, let's say, or through your computer. How did you implementing that? Actually, when a user clicks the upload photo, the submit button that uploads the photos, do you store these photos first in your server and then in your database, or you're storing directly to the database and in the client you're fetching from the database the photos?
Actually, for this part, for the posts, for this specific project, what I did was to undo the conversion from the front end. Like when a user upload a photo, so I separate the state that handles the photo from every other part of the form. So when you upload the photo, so I have to use inbuilt file system, convert that photo to a string before sending it to the database. There is an alternative to that, which is like in your database, you can actually create a special model to handle just your image. And I think there are something like maybe Malta, because I saw that when I was searching. So from your backend, you can actually convert whatsoever the photo is and then store it as a string in your database, or store it in bits, in bytes or so. I searched through that, but for this, I handled it from the front end.
Before we go to the next question, just a note on that. Usually, like saving the picture in the database, I haven't seen that. Sorry, Agnes. So a suggestion is like there are services for doing that. Okay, starting from Amazon S3 and Bucket, or services like Cloudinary, in which then you're sending just you're not transforming in like the image in text or anything. You're just passing it as a form, multi-part form, into one API, and the API stores that for you with a URL, and it's available through a URL. And then on the database, you store the URL, resulting URL for it to load it directly.
Nice.
Okay, so we're trying to look that in the group project if you have any kind of upload.
That's nice.
Ruben, that was your comment? Okay, sorry. I thought
it was a Ruben
question.
Actually,
I thought it was like an unrelated question. Sorry, Ruben.
Okay.
All right, so that's it. Then I'm going to Sean. You can start preparing. So a little bit of feedback for Agnes. It's showtime. You transformed. Like, I don't know what's happening there. I was like, who's that? Who's that? It's Agnes doing showtime.
This is 1 week project. 1 week project.
What do you mean with that? I'm saying
Like
the
I,
presentation is
you know,
amazing.
there was a part I failed to tell you guys. The part that I almost went into depression. Why? Because my supervisor is asking me, like, I have to show some work on my thesis, and I had to work on this. So everything in my head was like, but I was like, okay, I have to achieve one. Either I achieve this or I don't. But because it would be bad for me to now fail in the two parts. So it was very, very stressful for me.
Yes.
So I have to, okay, let me do this.
No, okay, okay. Don't stress that much. Okay, you can see that you have already been very successful on presenting that. So, so I'm telling you a little bit like the same as Alberto. So tone that stress down. I mean, the pressure is on, of course. But well, I was just talking about the right now. I was just talking about the way to present. I
Okay.
think that was amazing, and the energy, it was contagious, and congratulations for that because it's nice. Plus, now if I go aside from the presentation, I go to the product. I agree with the others. It's like you did like a hell of an application in just 1 week. So perfect. That's very good job. Very good job. In this case, the UX I think is very good. Okay, the design is good. The UX is very good. I will tone down the animations a little bit. Okay, it's not like animate everything at all cases in all cases. Okay. Plus, if you want to work with animations, just as a suggestion, try to not to surpass the half a second. Okay, so it's like the animation should be 0.25 to 5 to half a second to look professional. And there are like some animations that took more than 1 second, no, that are like
I'm
they're
the
very
one.
specific.
I sent the wrong time.
Yeah, so careful with that. But yes, looking very good. I was like, I'm not going to get into that, but I at one point, if we can talk, I want to tell me you didn't use Tailwind.
I use Tailwind and
you
Daisy
use.
and Daisy
So
UI.
you say that yeah, okay, that's Daisy UI. Okay, perfect. So you were saying like Tailwind is for some cases. I would love to hear like what are your cases, like to use it or not. But it was good for you to use Tailwind or not?
Yeah, for this
Okay,
project,
so
it was perfect with the Daisy UI.
so the
So
insights were
good.
for others. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
And that's it. Very good job. Thank you for presenting.
Hi, everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Sean McGrady. Just call me Sean. And I had a bit of a different idea. I'm not trying to give humanity a service. I'm just trying to make them laugh during the time they're alive. So I wanted to make a video game, and it's called Invicta. Now, we're going to go through 3 topics on the way through this. Just the idea itself, because nobody's seen it before. The MVP, the thing I managed to accomplish, and a few bugs. And then some things I learned, which was a lot. So I just picked one thing, really. So what is Invicta? It's a video game that's kind of like a team manager, and it's got turn-based combat in it, and it's themed around Roman gladiators. So the idea here was to give people a spectator sport. So you can both spectate the game and actually have a team that's fighting in the game. You can choose. You don't have to do both. You can do one or the other. So it's kind of like a dream football team maker, except you can gamble with your team's blood. So that's fun. So we're going to take a look at the idea very briefly in Excalidraw, just so you know what I'm going to talk about in the future. So the idea is that you would see this kind of screen when you log in. On the left, you would have a stream of the highest rated game by ELO. And then on the right, you would just have a picture where you can go manage your team. I didn't get to the spectate part. I'm only on the client so far. So the idea is that you would click a button to go slay your enemies, go to this screen, and then you would have up to 5 characters to choose depending on your bracket. You can customize your team by having training, certain costs for items you want to give them. Fundamentally, though, you're just going to pick your team, choose your bracket, 2v2, 3v3, 5v5. There's an option to practice, but really the spirit of the game is in Conquer, where you go fight other players. And then you go up here to this screen, which that would be you in the Coliseum if you make it that far, or in the arena if you're new, and you fight other teams. And the cool part is the spectators are going to be in the game just as much as you are. They're going to have little pixel characters in the background, and they can cheer for you, or they can boo you, or they can like the highest rated spectator there can give you the thumbs up or thumbs down towards the loser. So if you're a loser and you've got your team there and the spectator, the highest rated guy is like, yeah, you sucked this game, they can just kill your characters if you lose, because your characters are going to be open for death. But they can also just give you a thumbs up and spare your life, kind of like the Emperor would do. So anyway, that's the brief idea. I think there should be a lot of emotional attachment to rivalries, grudges, honor, loyalty, friendship. Like you can experience it all here in a competitive format. So let's move on, because I think you've got the basic idea. So that's the idea. Let's go through the demo of what I actually managed to accomplish. So here's our start screen. If you hit spectate, you at least go to a slightly different screen. It's not set up, but you can go to Slay, and there's not a team selector yet. There's just this. So this is what I've been working on the whole time. Thanks, Ilias. So you have some abilities here. Block isn't implemented yet, but the cool thing is, let's just do attack. So there are no animations yet to make it pop like Agnes' presentation, but as you can see, there is an automatic turn-based approach here. So this guy used a bandage on himself to get some of his health back. Right now, there's not much tactic to it. You just attack and win. So here's a bug. This is a bug. He both attacked me and healed himself. What a dirt bag, right? I didn't program him to do that, but I've got to fix that somehow. Another bug. Let's do this. I'm just going to click attack dozens of times. Okay, get wrecked. So there obviously needs to be a prevention on that from happening. Otherwise, there's not much of a game. But you know, that's kind of it. I've got the functionality down. I have 2 bugs I need to fix, and you can play again. And the cool thing, one cool little thing for flavor I added, you can see the text down here. I want it to be a log. That way you can track like who hit who for how much damage, et cetera, et cetera. But right now it just iterates letter by letter for a little flavor, kind of like Pokemon used to do. Okay, so we have taken a look at that. So let's actually talk about some lessons I learned. And this is where we get into the technical aspects a little bit. The most difficult part for me by far was the battle sequence, because I had to unite like originally 24 used states. I got it down to 18. But the most difficult part was that. And I learned about something called an IIFE. And this is like the shell of it. Oops, go back, thank you. This is the shell of it. So 2 parentheses. But what you're doing is like if we look at this example, you've got a function inside the first parenthesis. So here, if you can see my mouse, that's the first one. That's also the end of the first one. You've got your function in that, and then you immediately call it. This blew my mind. It was like, bro, as you're reading the code, you can just have it trigger. I really needed that, and I'll show you where. So let's actually go here. So I've got one of the, so we're inside the battle sequence right now. And what we're doing is we're using a state change to trigger a switch to determine the mode of action. So this is where we're using the abilities. So in the case you receive a mode, you're going to, like, let's say you get attack as a mode, just simple attack. You're going to do a damage calculation. You're going to have some intended delays you have like a 1 second delay, like a 500 millisecond delay to play out some animations. And then you'll implement the calculation from earlier to remove some health from whoever you hit. Now, here's the IIFE. There's the first parenthesis. There is the last parenthesis, and then there is the call. Okay, so learning how to do that with all of this junk inside and then everything going on up here was a big deal for me. So guys, that is all I have to show for right now. Yeah, questions?
Show us your favorite element of your code.
Yeah, okay. Gosh, I'm attached to everything. It's like my baby now. But actually, this getting everything to work in sequence of turn was so difficult. It's not my favorite thing though, because it's not the most ironic. So I'd say like one thing I'm proud of, I organized everything kind of well, but I made this wait function. And this is just on the client side. It makes a promise, which for the juniors is kind of like if you, I want to explain this for the juniors because they're kind of new. So if you read like, let's just say you have some normal JavaScript and you're going to read from top to bottom, you need a way to be able to like pull something out of that sequence and say, okay, I'm going to give you a little time to succeed or fail, and then handle what happens later in the code. Like it's going to be asynchronous. It's going to be outside of the progression of that code block. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. It's not an online promise, it's offline. And yeah, and then I just try to resolve a timeout. I basically just say, pass some time so I can do anything else, whether it's load an animation or I also used it for the text generator in the console that you saw. So I'm really proud that I made something simple that I could
Wow,
reapply all over the code.
you have a set timeout inside the promise. So
Yeah.
which is both, asynchronous. What the fuck? So come on.
Asynchronous.
Good job, man. Good job.
Yeah,
job,
so that I'm
Sean.
proud of that. Thanks.
I think I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Agnes.
Yeah, can you go to the demo, sorry.
Sure.
Okay, now we have like green bar moving whenever we click something. Do you try like thinking about a way in which these two people can move as the green bar is moving?
Yeah, so animating the characters to like go like hiya and slash each other with a sword or punch. Yeah, I want to. I just didn't get there. I've been struggling with the functionality, just getting it to work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Nice
that
one.
is, thank you. That's the next step for sure.
I didn't understand very well how is the game played. So is this thing working by turns? So first one does what he wants, like for example, the first character he can attack, and then the other he has to do something. Or it's like doing it at the same time.
Good
I don't know
question.
if you got me.
So the language would be real time versus turn-based. And so this is turn-based, where one person has a turn and then another person has a turn. It's not realistic because in real life, you're not a gentleman on the battlefield, right? You're not like, oh, I shot you, your turn to shoot me, go ahead. But
yeah,
this is strict for gameplay. So you take turns.
I just wanted to ask the name of the website where you normally get your beautiful images.
So yeah, I had to get some art for this just for placeholder. This one I just made with an AI image maker. It was Blue Willow. And then these guys, if you just type in vector art or royalty-free PNG, Gladiator, Coliseum, Arena, you'll get the same results I did. And then I just copied that into my client.
And sorry, did you done this with plain CSS?
Oh yeah, that's one thing I neglected in my presentation. Yeah, just plain CSS. I used React.js, a bit of TypeScript. I didn't always listen to it, but I used it. And plain CSS and Vite to get everything started.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I had my hands full getting the logic down, so I didn't want to overcomplicate things. And my objective was to get better at React because and CSS because I don't have experience with that. So yeah.
What did you think is the most difficult thing you managed?
Oh, I mean all of it because I'm I'm still learning, but
Okay.
yeah, the battle sequence by far, because I have a bunch of these states and I have to think about like all these different files where I'm getting information from, link it together in the turn-based sequence. Like getting people to be polite and just like have turns is hard. So yeah, and like Edu and I were like really struggling over this IIFE because I forgot to put the parentheses there. Like I had these down here to call it, but then I forgot the parenthesis right here and right here, and that just took like 3 hours of my time. Just like that
Wow.
one thing. Yeah, because I just
That one parenthesis.
yeah, because like I didn't know I needed that. So. But other than that, yeah, it's
Okay, cool, man.
this part.
So I suppose, Sean, that when we finish the bootcamp, you will continue working with this amazing game, right?
I don't care that much about it, to be honest. Maybe. It just as a hobby, sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Thank
Amazing
you.
job,
Yeah,
Sean. Amazing job.
thank you, guys.
All right. Okay, so some feedback. I don't have much because it's like the presentation was great, Sean, and it was like perfectly timed. Okay, I was afraid like he's going to go over time, and he asked me not to say what's the time limit, and I won't have rights on that. No, but it was great. It was well explained. I really liked how you went into explaining some of the things that you like. You went very specific on the insights. Yeah, it's like, hey, let's talk about diffs. Nothing. It was great. The only feedback that I have, it's more technical in this case, and it's related to the thing that I that I had to get in when you were talking with Ilias. Yes, before on the number of user states. Yes, and I think that session that we can do, it's going to be very useful for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, on how to organize what's these amount of users that you have on, and when to split that into different components, that they can be different components with less user states, and when it's time to use user, for example, like it's your case, and whenever what I was talking all the time about the state machine, remember? So for you, like it's something that is like very good to have a state machine that in this case would have like prevented you from having to do that IEF. Okay, so which is fine. Okay, by the way, the IEF, you can see it just as it's not like the double parenthesis. It's just like first you are encapsulating the fair function in a parenthesis, so then you can use it. And how you can use it is a function, you can call it, yeah, with the other parentheses. But yeah, it's also a concept that we actually cover like one of the last days, because it usually is a question. Okay, so that's it. Very good job. Okay, I think that I'm not going to take opinion on the app, because the app, like just by the introduction that you did, it was like, dude, that's massive. It's like, this is absolutely massive. So I think it's delusional to see that you're going to end up with something that is like fully working. But so far, like the part that was done in 1 week, it's great. On the group project, we're going to focus more on having something that is well scoped and that is going to be marketable. That's for sure. Okay, great. So that's it, everybody. Thank you very much. We went like almost 2 hours. So thank you also for the juniors for your patience and attention on the presentation of the seniors. I hope they were like good. They were like motivating as well for your work that you have to do for now until getting into the seniors part. And of course, congratulations to the seniors for the hard great job. I think that the average was quite good, and the things presented were like looking really good. So I'm quite hyped and excited for the things that you can do together on the group project if you don't kill each other. And pretty excited to start doing this. Okay.